To be or not to be? The real question is masculinity. Somehow the roles have changed where now the women are more masculine than men, and the men are taking on more of a feminine type trait. It's almost as if now the women wear the pants and men are wearing the skirts. Now I get it. Some things have changed. You have more people now that's out. But I'm talking about the relationships. I'm talking about how to create that balance between each other where we can reach the common goal. Now, there's a couple of questions that I might ask, but we go get down to the bottom of it and open discussion. What's good, everyone? What's good? What's good? What's good? I'm back. Told you I was gonna have some new things for you. Something a little different, but the same. Today I have a co-host I'm very familiar with because she's my niece. She will be working with me on this show today when we discuss who wears the crown. And my host today, seated to my right, is Felicia Manuel. How you doing, Felicia?
Hey,
How's everything?
things good.
Good, good. I'm glad you can come on to the show. Thank you so much for coming on. Um, Before we get down to the topic, I want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself, what you do, what's your background in, so that way they can get a little bit of a backstory on you.
Well, um, I'm a mother of five. Um, I've been on my job 16 years. I'm a school safety agent. Um, 40 years old. I know I don't look like it. Um,
Let's not go that far. Let's not go that far. All right. So I've been having a lot of different topics and stuff I've been discussing about this whole male and female switch off. And today I figured I'll bring you in on that title of who wears the crown. Um, and I hope that in this episode, from the ladies to the men, we both get something out of this. So as usual, ladies, do me a favor, stand up. Fellas, you in the back, have a seat. Cause we gonna put some stuff on blast. Again, this is no reflection on all women, but this is just pointing out some of the discrepancies in women and in men when it comes down to this whole who has the crown. When it comes down to masculinity, this is not a battle, this is not a fight, but this is just to show us what's going on and why is it changing. Miss Manuel, what's your thoughts on this? Like, when it comes down to relationships primarily and the masculinity of it, who do you think is running these relationships? Who do you think are governing how the situation turns out in the relationship?
for starters, I want us to be less with the Miss Manuel, more with the Felicia.
I got you.
Conversation. But for me, um, I think that the era is using the word masculinity and making it about a contest, making it who's more masculine, who is depends. A lot of times, the dynamic of relationships has a lot to do with past issues. Some people come into relationships and with traumas, come into relationship without healing, and so they enter with their guards up. Um, you enter with high expectations, and sometimes when people don't meet those expectations, that's where you deal with conflicts. So I think it's kind of like insensitive for a man to assume that a woman is bitter. A woman is she's entering a relationship because she's you had drama in your last relationship, so now this is why you're masculine or you're aggressive. So I think it's
So where would you think that will come from though? If you come into a relationship and you rah-rahing all the time, where is it coming from? I don't, is there an assumption that he's assuming?
so I will say we don't chastise our children for doing nothing. We don't see kids just sitting there being quiet and reading a book and say, hey, stop that noise. Hey, it's something actually happening that's causing you to react that way.
So it had to come from your past.
No, I'm saying that even in that moment, something's happening to bring about that question, bring about that feeling, that emotion. Emotions don't randomly happen unless you're schizophrenic. But when we're talking about something, if you're doing something, if there's an expectation and we both have, let's say it was your job to pay the electricity bill, and we come in the house and the lights are not on. When I'm having a conversation with you about it, to say, oh, you're rah-rah, you gotta do, no.
No, that's valid. No, that's valid. If his responsibility is to make sure the lights stay on, it's his responsibility to make sure the lights stay on. So at the end of the day, if you come at him because the lights are not being paid, then that's a problem. But more along the lines what I was saying from earlier is where these females are on that bullish bully mode where it's either kill or be killed. I'm running this. You ain't got no say. You go do what I say type thing that's going on. I mean, you have it where this is basically my opinion. And I heard somebody say this not long ago, but you have it where a lot of men are afraid to step into that role of being the man, of being that masculine type figure, because they don't want the drama coming from the female. But I always say you got to give her something to follow. You can't play a role that you're not equipped to handle. Morgan Freeman can't play Batman. He can't. Morgan Freeman just can't play Batman. So some men can't play that role as being that man and being that figure because it takes responsibility. And some men, I feel, don't have it.
Okay, so just listening to you speak, the words you just used, you said can't carry on, can't do that role, can't
play that
role,
can't play that role.
You said can't play that role. You use multiple words to just describe a person as if being a man is a character. It's not a character.
No.
No, wait.
Go ahead, finish.
A woman, you're a woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're bound to deal with you're bound to deal with a menstrual every month. There's certain things you're bound to. You can give birth to children. Your body in itself will reproduce milk for a child to feed off of. These are just things that come with being a woman. These are natural things that come. A man has a role. He's a man. Your boy grows up to be a man.
Not all, but not all men make it to that level. Some men are used to being catered to. Some men are used to being coddled. So he can't play that role. It is a role.
There's a natural instinct that comes with all people, all men and women. Even in animal kingdom, the woman has the female has a role, the man has a role, and there's no being taught how to do that. There's something that's naturally in you that's supposed to teach you, that's supposed to unction you when you get a certain age to take on.
So let me ask you. Let's see if I'm correct. You can't be taught how to be a woman, and a man can't be taught how to be a man. This is something you figure out.
No, what I'm saying to you is that to be under the assumption that, oh, I need to learn. If I don't learn it, I can't. How am I supposed to know how to be a provider? If you're in a household, every mother don't know how to be a mother till you become a mother.
No.
So there's something that you're unctioned to know what to do in that moment. So to say men don't know how, no, I think a lot of times it's given with throwing this pity party. Oh, he didn't know, he didn't have this or he didn't have that, so he didn't know how to be. No, A mother, whether you know how to do it or not, when that child cries and needs to be fed, you have to do it. You don't have the choice. A lot of times men have too much choices. Women don't have the choice a lot of times that men have.
Yes, they do. They have the same amount of choices.
If a woman decides to bring a child into this world and the man leaves, she's still entitled to raise that child.
She is, but then you have the flip side of it.
Okay.
I've seen Tupac did a song, Brenda had a baby. She threw it away. You get more women that throw babies in the dumpster all day long. And most of the time, they don't even tell the fathers that they even had the baby. They throw it in the dumpster. Women got the same amount of choices men do. Just the only sad thing about it is women either toughen up to it and take care of their responsibilities, or they dump them off. They put them in the firehouse. I mean, the choices are the same. It's just whether or not you want to do it. Some people... Okay, we all learn from examples. We all learn from examples. If we have those people that's in our lives, we learn and see how they do what they do. Some people really don't have the tools. You can give a person a screwdriver and say, here, you got a screwdriver. But if they don't know how to use it, they're assed out. Somebody has to teach you something. You as a mother had to learn something from somebody. You didn't just give birth and what do I do? You figured it out. Either somebody told you, hey, you feed it a bottle every so many hours. Hey, you do this. This is how you change the baby. This is what kind of pampers you have. Somebody had to say something.
What I'm saying to you, Daryl, is you're dealing with, so that's like the environment taking a toll on your learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's, right, as a mother, the body in itself, when you give birth, when you're pregnant with a child, your body already has things in it that teaches it and helps you learn. Your body just does it on its own. It provides everything that baby, all the nutrition.
Oh, yeah, the milk comes.
Everything. I'm not talking about in the womb before you.
No, I'm talking about.
So what I'm saying to you is, I know you're not dealing with statistics, so I'm not even going to blast you on the fact that you said you
can use statistics.
Babies away. I mean, statistically, the world is populated because of women. There's no men having children. So
there's no women having children without men.
What I'm saying to you is, you're saying that there's a lot of women throwing babies away. I'm saying that the population that we have right now exists because the women are giving birth to babies. Yes, men, and I say this because this is just the truth. A man is a part of the process, but if a woman decides not to go through with it, that baby does not exist.
Because you got more abortions that take place now more than anything.
No, actually, they're not allowing it. It's less because in a lot of states, they're banning it.
A lot of states they're banning it, but abortion,
can't be more
the abortion rates are still up 65%. That I do know. They still, you got all those rural counties that's Trumpers and stuff like that. Yeah, it's still going on. Whether it's illegal or illegal, they doing it. They still doing it. You still got people taking the Plan B pill right now. And
you got a lot of guys that's watching and making sure that they swallow the pill because they don't want.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Right.
I agree.
So,
I agree. 1,000. Two people are both playing a role in the situation.
Equally responsible.
Equally responsible. Totally so. I'm an equal opportunist. But at the same time, you have your people. You have either women or you have men. They both fucking up. They're both fucking up. You can't sit here and say, oh, more men fuck up than women. No, it's
not what
equal.
I'm saying, though, but that's not, bring it back. We're dealing with men, a man and a woman.
Yes.
Right? And so now if we deal with even body stature, how a man body develops versus how a woman body develops.
Correct.
There's the testosterone, estrogen, there's parts of a man and parts of a woman. These are different hormones that these are already in you. So when you're dealing with, you got a men's basketball team, you got a women's basketball team, you're gonna have women boxers, men boxers, you got lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, you got different weights based off of different things. And with a man and a woman, there's just things that a man is able to do, is supposed to do, that is his makeup is to do, and there's things that a woman's makeup is to do. And a lot of times, I keep using motherhood and fatherhood as examples because I think it's the most vulnerable time for a woman is carrying a child.
Yes.
And I think
I agree with you on that.
For a lot of people not knowing what's going to happen prior to you giving birth or and raising children in a family is to not whether or not that man is going to be able to provide. Because now you don't have a choice. There's a vulnerable state. Now you're going to be out of commission for a while. So now that 50-50, that all those terminologies, all those expectations, it goes out the window because there's a role, there's an obligation that everybody has to play, and to now say, oh, it's because he didn't know how. So he's not going to be able. He needs to get a job, but he's going to be a little bit of a struggle because no man told
Next question.
how to be. No man told him how to be a father. It's now this child needs to eat. Now your family needs to eat. If there's no unction in you that says, hey, I gotta make it happen. I gotta make it happen.
You gotta have that driving force, but not all men got that.
But that's what I'm telling you. It's an instinct that, not to say that there's not women who don't step up to the plate. There's things that happen, but I'm just saying majority of the time, because of the population that we have on this earth, women are carrying out that whole childbearing, bringing a child into this world. They're carrying it out. We're dealing with broken families. When you're dealing with these broken families, now we got to figure out how is this happening.
So let me ask you a question then. You say we're dealing with broken families then, right? All right, so then what about the men that want to take care of their kids, but the woman won't let them?
It's always two sides. It's two sides to a coin. It's two sides to every story.
Okay, so let me tell you a story that I know for a fact. I know somebody personally who used to go and give his baby mother XYZ dollars every 2 weeks, $500 every 2 weeks. $500 every 2 weeks. I keep repeating because I'm trying to get to the point. Got a new girlfriend. Got engaged. The moment the baby mother found out, took him to court for child support and also blocked him from seeing his daughter. So I know that for a fact. And I can lay off a couple of others. So explain that situation that I know for a fact.
Okay. It's two sides to a coin, right? Right. Now you got the woman who the relationship doesn't work out with the father of her children, right? She moves on with her life. And now the guy no longer does his routine. He doesn't get his children like he's supposed to. He doesn't provide.
I'm not taking away from that.
No, I'm just saying that. But what I'm telling you is you're dealing with two sides to a coin. So now people get in their feelings. Men get in their feelings. Men get in their feelings more so than women a lot of times with emotion. Because you know what? The idea is that a man is not an emotional being. But a lot of times they deal with their emotions more so than women because we're out front with it from the beginning. We're emotional people. Men, you see their true colors when relationships end. Come on now. How many do you see more men or women killing women and their new boyfriends and their new boyfriends out in the world today? What are you seeing? You're seeing more men going in rages, killing women, killing them at the kids' school, coming to their houses.
Don't take away from that.
But what I'm saying to you is, I hear what you're saying, but when we're dealing with the dynamic of the overall emotional, because that's an emotional response. A woman doing that a lot of time is an emotional response, right? Because, okay, you couldn't keep your family together, but now you're in a whole nother relationship. You didn't marry me, but you're in a whole nother relationship and you're marrying this woman that you don't have children with. So I'm not excusing it, but I'm bringing to your attention that it's an emotional response, right? And a lot of times it's short-lived. And guess what? Granted, she's taking you to child support. Does it change the fact that she's expecting you to take care of your child?
But what if he was already taking care of his child before the whole situation?
Maybe her fear is, because it happens a lot of times, you have a lot of men who move on, create new families, and leave behind their other children sometime. Because sometimes the new woman don't always accept their children they had previously. And sometimes the new woman, once that man is insecure and expects that man to be in that house, she doesn't really want him in communication with the mother of his children. It happens. And so now when you bring it to the courts, unfortunately, I'm not making excuses, but there's usually some kind of unction that causes it to get that crazy. A lot of times it's something that gets it there, whether it's whether you didn't speak about it until you got married, whether you know, so now it's like, wow, you're throwing this at me. So now there's another woman that's permanently in my child's life that you didn't mention previously.
So how does that warrant going to child support court and having your daughter blocked from seeing you?
You can't once
a court order. I
get that. I get
but
it.
you still there's
An emotional response.
Emotional response to a situation that should be handled as an adult. Now, granted, we all get into our feelings. Men get into their feelings. Women get into their feelings. It's definitely true. However, when it comes down to a man being in his child life, the women, primarily if he's not a bum, but I'm not talking about bums. I'm talking about everyday dudes that go out here and grind. How a woman hurts a man is by not letting him see his child.
Okay.
Or by hitting him in his pockets. And then not letting him see his child. And I'm not talking about the bums. Let's talk about for a moment the men that go out here and do what they do. Rightly. The bums, I understand the bums exist. I'm talking about the guys that's doing their thing.
Okay, so you using the word bums and
the bums exist.
Wait a minute.
But I'm talking about the upstanding 9 to 5. Hey, I'm calling to see if Jody good. Yeah. Okay, well I'm gonna come bring her some stuff. I'm talking about those dudes. How do men, you coming from a woman's standpoint, how do a man deals with a situation like that?
Okay, because I hear what you're saying, and with every instant, even with the example that you gave, I could give you 10 examples of.
I'm going to hold you to the question. Because I know bums exist.
I'm not talking about bums though. See, because when you're dealing with a man, right, a bum, I don't always. So I'm open to the fact that learning, being through relationships, that men are very emotional when they lose the control of a relationship, when it's over. And so sometimes their intentions, they could have been great fathers in a relationship, right? But the minute the relationship is over, they go through withdrawals, they go through tantrums, and they're not doing their routine. And so when routine fails, when you stop doing routine, it doesn't just disrupt the woman, it disrupts the children. And so it's not that it don't always have to be the bum. So you got men that's providers, right? That used to be providers, that because the woman no longer wants to be with him, you know what? You ain't gonna have no free time. So now I'm not keeping my kids like I need to because I got to get on my feet and figure this out. I got to do this and I got to do that, because now it's not really about the kids. It's about getting back at the female, not recognizing that the children suffer. So I hear what you're saying. And in that instinct with the man, because I'm a woman, I have male friends who have children. And if a woman does that, you got to go through the child support system. You go through child support, then you go to visitation. A woman cannot stop you from seeing your children. Those are your children. A mother and a father on a birth certificate, it does not give a percentage. It says mother, it says father. That's it. And as a mother, it doesn't say mother 75, 80, father 20, 25. It doesn't do that. So you have rights to your child. You go to court, you pay your child support, then you go for visitation. So now she doesn't have a say. She can't tell you can't see your children. See, a lot of times these are the steps that you take. Just like a woman got to take steps when a man don't want to do what he's supposed to do. Hey, you used to get $500 every 2 weeks. Now you're telling me I got to wait the third week for my $500. And now that means the next week when you're supposed to be giving me my other $5, I got to wait. So everything changes. Not recognizing that your child still has to live in 2 separate households so now you forget the responsibilities that you once had in the household. And you know what it looks like to pay bills, but now it's about an emotional response, and it becomes a financial response because you tie your emotions into how you provide for your children now based off of the separation.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Man is inside the household. What's his responsibilities?
In the household, a man has a responsibility. So, okay, I'll play devil's advocate. let's do two scenarios, right?
Go ahead.
Because I keep hearing this story that the way the economy is set up now, to hold a man responsible to go to work and for the woman to stay home is not realistic. A woman is going to have to go out and work, and a woman is going to have to go out and contribute in some way, shape, or form so that the family can thrive properly. Okay, great, right?
Okay.
So with that instinct, right? How you deal with it from there matters. You're in the household. So now both of us, if you're solely providing, you're going to work every day if you have children, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to work every day, paying for the bills. The woman is staying home. She's nurturing the children. She's taking care of home.
So you don't believe in that 50-50?
No.
You believe a man should take care of everything 100%?
No, I'm saying it depends on the household setting. So here's what I'm saying, right? Mm-hmm. I'm giving a dynamic, right? Okay. Because listen, it's either you can't have it both ways. And a lot of times men do this 50-50, but it's never 50-50 because 50-50 is home and work. There's two parts of 50-50. So you can't just solely base it off of, okay, with the bills, what happens at home? That means it's 50-50 of taking care of the home, 50-50 cleaning, 50-50 cooking, 50-50 taking care of the children. You can't come home and expect a hot dinner every night, a woman taking care of the kids, putting them to bed, bathing them, doing the laundry, taking care of home, and also going to work. That's not realistic because honestly, that sounds like 50-50 work, 100 women, 0 man at home. It's not a balance. And when there's no balance, there's chaos in the household. So when you say a woman is that rah-rah, what happens is overwhelmness. But because women, we're strong, we have this, we will figure it out. A mother will figure it out a lot of times. And I mean, come on, single parent households, women will figure it out. I'm not saying that that's the dynamic all the time, but I mean, when you look at it, when we're dealing with broken households, a lot of times you have a lot of women raising children, men, boys, and girls by themselves, right? And she's taking on both roles. When you have a 2-parent household, there's an expectation. When you have a man and a woman in the household, there's an expectation for both people, but not just when you have a home.
Who's the head of that home?
The man should be. The man is the head of a household.
Well, let's.
But there's roles. There's things you do to be the head. You can't just be the head of the household and not go to work. You're not my pimp. You're not gonna take my money. I'm not gonna go to work while you sit at home twiddling your toes.
You're not my pimp.
You're
Get the fuck out of here.
Flipping the remote control, telling me go make me food while you sitting in the house all day while I'm going out earning the dollars.
Well, let's see what somebody has to say with this. This is one of the videos that I want to play right now. Let's take a listen and look, and we'll come back and comment on it.
I would dismiss any man that came up with a conversation about 50-50 because he's lacking somewhere in terms of his masculinity. I don't think a woman should ever marry a man that does not have a mind to 100% provide for her. Mm. That 100% heart as a man, you have to simply clearly communicate where you're going to your woman so that she understands every day in and out that this is not where we're parking at. That's really the currency that a woman needs to stay motivated in a relationship with a man. The 50-50, it's not about the money.
It's not about the money.
It's mindset. And when women have an issue with 50-50, what they're subconsciously, they may not even realize it. They are upset about the fact that this dude is not showing up as a whole man.
Wow. But he kind of backtracked. Now, for the audience that's listening, he said that if a man has a 50-50 mentality, he's not the right man for you. And you should leave. But then he said, it's not about the money. It's about the mindset. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, as a man, myself, you do have a mindset to make sure things is good 100%. Do I believe a woman should be in the house working while you struggle? No. My mother used to say that it's a poor woman, but I'm not going to curse on this one, but she says a poor woman that'll sit back and watch a man struggle. My mother told me there's a story. She said, my father lost his job, and she said he was devastated. Man was just sitting up there drinking, lost his job. For whatever reason, lost his job. My mother said she went into battle mode, and she wound up working for this white lady or whatever, doing whatever. And she, back in the 70s, somebody look it up, used to have to pay to get a job. So my mother said that seeing this man mope around broke her fucking to pieces. She said this man made sure everything was good for her and her daughters for years, whatever like that. And he couldn't stand by to watch this man do that. So she said she went back out here, got on the grind, got enough money up to help him pay for a job. And she said, my father damn near cried. Said nobody ever did anything like that for him. Way before he died, he mentioned that whole thing. Exactly the way she did, verbatim. So because of that, I watched how my mother did certain things or what she did on certain things, which if a female didn't fit that concept of it, then he wasn't worthy. Some women do expect for you to sit by and do everything. I remember there was a chick that I worked with years ago, and she said, oh, I just save my money. I don't do nothing. He take care of everything. I just bank my money. So I asked a dumb question. I said, what if something happened? She said, well, he should have enough in savings for me to help get everything taken care of. I said, what about the money you got? Oh, that's my money. Crazy. But that's how some females think. My mindset of a relationship, and we'll get back to conversation. My mindset of a relationship is that both of y'all are doing what y'all doing together. Because at the end of the day, if the man falls, and 9 out of 10, it always happens. When the man falls, most females don't have that savings. They spend it on stuff like that. They want to be glam. And most men that fall, and they have a house, and they have this, and they have the cars, and they have all of that, the woman falls right behind. There was a girl who worked for me, an older lady that worked for me about 3 years ago. Her husband died, had a massive heart attack. He was a breadwinner. She bought them a $600,000 house, had 3 cars, one for her, him, and his daughter, and they lived out lavish. She worked sparingly, but she said her money went towards clothes. He died, and she didn't know how to manage the finances, didn't know how to take care of anything. She lost the house. They wind up homeless. They lost the cars. Well, 2 of the cars they lost. One of them they slept in for a while. And it was sad. And I asked her, because she got back into the work where I said, well, why didn't you save anything? I didn't think he was going to die. So it's a give and take situation. You can have a man provide 100%. No, go ahead. What's your take on that, Felicia?
So,
you could comment back on this with the guy, but I just want to know your take.
So,
because if you notice, he backtracked.
no.
He backpedaled.
He didn't backpedal.
He did.
No, what he did is he used 2 different words, right? He used mindset.
Mindset, and
he said, right, a man should not have the mentality, should not have a 50-50 mentality. He said that should not be that should not be where you start at. That should not be how you enter a relationship. You see what you just said? Even with your description of your mother's relationship, you kind of just helped him. You just put the nail on the casket.
But the old lady went on the grind.
But wait a minute.
After the man fell down.
Wait a minute. But what you just said is you sealed the deal with exactly what he just said. He said it's a mindset. So you don't enter a relationship. Your father didn't enter the relationship expecting her to do 50-50. He did 100, right? And after doing 100, wait a minute, when he did fall, because he was a provider, she knew what she had to do in that time. And she automatically picked that instinct to do, because that's what happens in a relationship when a man is a provider. It doesn't, when your mindset is set on 100%, when you can't no longer carry out your 100%, a woman naturally, in her own, because she reverences the fact that you're a provider, right? She will respect it and do her part.
But there's a lot of women out here that will kick a nigga down just when he lose out on everything. There is and see, back in the day, it was different. women understood their roles. I mean, my mother worked in the course of, but she went more on the grind. That's why whenever I go through something, I call it battle mode, because she kind of said she went into a battle mode. I forget the word she used now. I'm getting old. But a lot of women now will bash a man for not working if he loses his job legitimately. You could lose your job. Well, back then it was because first one in, last one out. You know, however that thing goes. So if you've been here years ago, but you just started working Friday, next Friday we're gonna let people go. We're letting you go first, and that's what that was the situation after whatever. But the traditional women of this time don't believe in none of that. Most girls want to stay glam. I'll let you comment in a minute. Most girls want to stay glam. Most females want to be, out partying all the time, for the most part, depending on the age. It depends on the age. I'm talking about 30. You got
it's impossible.
25 to 30 right now, or 35.
Because what you're failing to mention is the fact that when you're young, I'm gonna say this.
You go party.
No, it ain't about partying. You're gonna live your life. You have no responsibility. You don't have children. You have a right to live your life. And that's both men and women. Both men and women are doing the same thing. There's no woman or man. There's no more men. There's more men just going to work and coming home and sitting down and just sipping their tea.
The average man is. The average man is out here.
Relationship, and a lot of times they're making time for it, and you're not making time for it sitting on the couch in your household doing it. You're making time for it being in the streets, hanging out, going on trips, doing spending, splurging. Things is happening because a lot of times men have this thing: if I take care of home, then I can do what I want to do.
For the most part, that could be true.
But so that's not just for the most part. You're dealing with you're giving statistics. You're saying there's a lot of women out here. No, you have mothers. You have women. If we're making this about as you said in the beginning, the world. There's this unction that the world is catering more so to women being the head of the household more so than men. So that they're preventing job opportunities. They're intensifying the whole background requirements and experience to opt men out of jobs. Like it's been said. And so what I'm saying.
Wait, what's been said? What? Man?
It's been said that society, even on my job, right? I've had people come in one time during scanning. I had a woman that said, because my job is majority women, and they said that the government has been intentional about making it harder for Black men to get jobs and creating job opportunities for women, so that women are working more and men are still looking for jobs. So the woman becomes head of the household because the man can't find a job because it's more of a hardship for him to find one.
Okay, so let me touch upon that. Okay. Let me touch upon that. All right. Okay, back in the 70s, they had an initiative. The government has always played a role in demasculizing a man. The government has always took care of females, always, since the beginning of time, just about. Back in the day, they had a law called No Man in the House. No Man in the House. This was taken back in like 1973 to 1975. In between those two times, the government had the No Man in the House rule. If you had a man in the house that was working, you couldn't get financial assistance. So what women did was they would exclude the man or not have a man live with them, leave him outside the house while they could receive financial benefits towards that. So what that did, that caused a division between the black woman and the Black man. Him not being able to be in the house, they used to do surprise inspections. Matter of fact, there's a movie that I watched called Claudine. Mm-hmm. I'm seeking I get that clip for y'all.
Side of my voice pushing you know well.
Don't just stand there, let her in.
For goodness sake. Why should it be help? Hello. I'm sorry.
Children, would you cut that music down?
Hello, Mrs. Price.
Hi.
How you been?
Oh, grand. Living like a queen.
Mrs. Price, have you been working?
No.
Because if you have, I really have to know. Otherwise, you get into trouble.
No, I ain't been working.
Mrs. Price, you know I'm your friend, but you have to be honest with me.
I ain't been working.
Well, I understand a man's been visiting you regularly this past.
You are not supposed to spy on us.
I didn't spy on you, Mrs. Price, but someone has.
It must be that lady, that bitch across the street. She'll say anything, that bitch.
The thing is, Mrs. Price, if something comes out later and I don't know about it, you'll be in all kinds of trouble. So, if you've been seeing this man...
What is this? Am I not supposed to see a man? What am I, a damn nun?
No, but if you've been sleeping with a man and he's been giving you things, I'm sorry, but I have to know.
Do you sleep with a man?
Now, that's none of your business.
It's none of your business either.
You're wrong, Mrs. Price. It is our business. This man may be bringing things into your home which you may not be deducting. Now, you know I have to deduct you on those things.
What things? What things, damn it? You have a man come over for dinner, he brings you a bottle of wine. I have a man come over for dinner, he brings me a damn six-pack. Oh, there are two left, Miss Kayback. Would you like a beer?
I'm sorry, Mrs. Price.
I'm sorry, too. I figured it out. It comes to about $1.35. If he brings my kids some soda, that's about 80 cents. Now, with quick figuring, that comes to about $2.15, Miss Kayback. That's plus
You
tax.
mean to tell me that's all he gives you, $2.15?
How much do you get?
You heard of that movie, right?
Yes.
Did you see that movie?
Yes.
Okay, so remember that part? She had like 5 kids or whatever like that, and the lady was coming to do a surprise inspection, and she had to hide the iron. What's it, the iron? I'm lying?
No.
Okay. So
Hide it,
it was a
put it
yeah,
away.
because it sounds crazy though. They had to hide the iron because it showed she had too much fucking money. So they hide the iron, and he had to leave. And she said he spent the night last night. She's like, no, he just came by this. It's crazy. But it fucked up the black family in the 70s. It fucked it up. Now, for her to touch upon this topic and this subject, that they got more black women working and less men, it's hard for a black man to find a job, which is bullshit.
I'm just saying. I never
No.
said. I said someone said that.
No. But I'm not saying you. I'm saying the statement itself is bullshit because the reason why most black men can't get or find a job because they smoking weed. They smoking weed and they doing drugs.
Not the truth.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You couldn't tell me anything different.
No,
They
that's
still
why you got the-
companies
that's
are still Wait, hold on for a second. Companies are still drug testing. Even though you may sit here and say weed is legal, to some companies you have that right to say you exclude that type of behavior.
No.
Depending on your client. I know.
Statistically, the issue is because even in the DOE, they have implemented rules to prevent you from doing for summonses and putting things on record that could jeopardize people criminal background, having things added to their criminal background, which prevents them from getting jobs later on when they do background checks.
Okay.
So wait. You
Go ahead.
spoke.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Say what you gotta say.
And you all hyped up. They're going to do your drug test. All right, good. You good. Right? They go, hello. When I say if you ever been arrested, that includes if you ever had an open bottle, you ever got a summons for jumping the turnstile. Those are all arrests. You have to get dispositions from these things. If you don't have dispositions from these things right now, your ability to get this job is a void. You can't do it. You got to go back and get that. Wait a minute. And so in a room of over 60 people, 60 to 75 people, go to lunch, came back, the number decreased, but at least at a minimum of 30%.
That's why. Okay, so now you don't know the next procedure behind that. The dispositions, you'll still get the job. You can't have any felonies. Okay, I'm going to tell you both sides of the track. School safety, you can't have any sexual things dealing with kids. You already excluded. Boom. You already excluded. Meanwhile, you can't have any major serious hardcore felonies, what they call felonies. Boom, you're already excluded. Already done. Now, if you was arrested for whatever reason, jumping a turnstile, taking a piss, breaking a bottle, spitting in front of a cop, as long as you got your disposition in New York State or city, I don't know about no other state, you can still work as long as you have your disposition. You can still get a job as long as you have your disposition. Now, if somebody tell you that, oh, they said I can't get the job because, oh, I got a C summons for an open container back in 1993. They lying is something else to their background. And I know for a fact.
But Daryl, I'm not dealing with just that. I made that as an example. But right now, wait a minute. Right now, in New York City, even working for the MTA, working for sanitation, there is a lot of felons that did not know that they can get city jobs because they didn't know that the city hired felons. And this was something that was kept from people.
It depends on the felon.
Wait a minute. Daryl, that's not true. Right now, you cannot discriminate based on felonies.
Yes, you can.
Daryl, right now for New York, you know how many people right now was working for MTA right now?
What class of felony? If you know anybody, if y'all noticed earlier what I said, there's an E-class felony. You can't. Hey everyone, I know this episode may have went a little bit to the left, but guess what? We got part 2 coming next week, so stay tuned.